in the room. Bucks win it tonight. 113-109 over Detroit Pistons. What up, though? What up, though? Come on in the room. You thought it was going to be doom and gloom tonight, didn't you? Didn't you? Thought we was going to be doom and gloom. You thought we was going to be crying. I bet there's Pacer fans who was ready to hop in the chat tonight, wanted to look at the cream city. They're going to be crying tonight because they lost it over the trade room. No. 113-109. Come on in the room. And you know what? We can do it tonight. We can do it tonight. Doc is our doctor. He writes out all of our scripts. He gives us our medicine in our room. Oh, yeah. 113-109. Come on in the room. We are live. It's the Cream City Cross.
JT.
Chris King.
Justin.
Yeah. Everybody in the building tonight after a big-time biggest win of the season. Biggest win of the season. Is 16-3 still on the table? I don't know. 113-109. Bucks beat the Detroit Pistons. Come on in the room. We'll talk to you in the chat on the YouTube. We'll talk to you as well on the Twitter. Listen, man, before we talk about the Giannis stuff, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna party tonight after the dub. We're gonna party after the dub, then we'll get to the real stuff. All right, Steeler face 2-1. Always with the super. I feel like we're gonna be twerking a lot tonight. Shout out to Magic City. Steeler face 21 says, I really hate to do this, but I need to throw shade at Giannis. He quit on his team. But his agent Marlis Wallace in the first your ass goes down last game in a Bucks unit. Do you think it's like we'll talk about it? Are you talking about Marcellus Wallace? Are you talking about the is that a Pulp Fiction reference? I don't know. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. We'll talk about it, Steeler face, about whether that was Giannis' last game. I don't know, but for right now, I want to talk about this basketball team because I was told that this team was not fun to watch. That this team, it wasn't cool to watch. The Bucks were sorry. If you don't like that, what you saw tonight, if you don't like that, you don't like Milwaukee Bucks basketball. Let's do a game recap. 113. Okay, what's Pulp Fiction? That's what I thought. I thought it was Pulp Fiction. Still fake. I'll be watching. I'm with you on the Tarantino. 113-109. Bucks beat the Detroit Pistons. Let's go through a recap here. How about KPJ? Again, this is my thing. I'll ask another question to the chat and we'll talk about it. Ask another question you guys can chew on there. If you want to be a munch, you can chew on this. Were the other guys?
Wow.
Were the other guys?
Say you're a real eater. There it is. This is the young boy said. Real eater.
I got a question, and we can answer this in a second. But I'm just throwing it out there. Were these guys, upon hearing the rumors that they weren't good enough, that Giannis won, that they couldn't find a way to win? Was this an inspired effort because of some of that tonight? I'm just asking because they played like, hey, we're not terrible. We ain't bums. That's what they played like. And how about, again, KPJ, a guy who was hurt for most of all of this has happened tonight. Most of everything's happened. He just came back. And KPJ, 26, 2 boards, 7 assists, 2 steals, 8 of 18, 3 of 8 from 3, 7 of 7 from the line. He was a +8, did have 7 turnovers. But what I appreciate is he had 6 turnovers in like the first, he had 6 turnovers in like the first quarter, or maybe it was his first half. I think he had 6 in the first quarter. So he did clean it up a little bit. Rollins, 22 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. You have something with these guards here. You got some of these guards. 2 steals, lockdown defense, Ryan Rollins on Cade Cunningham in that basketball game. Miles Turner, 9 points, 3 boards. We're going to have to talk about him. Mo to the, E to the, because Doc Rivers clearly doesn't like this guy. We got to talk about the fact that Miles Turner played 19 minutes in a game against the Detroit Pistons where Bobby Portis played 30, Jericho Sims played 30, and your other backup 4, if you will, Kyle Kuzma played 21 minutes. All of those guys played in the fourth quarter. Miles Turner played 1.9 seconds in the fourth quarter. So all this trade talk and, well, is Kuzma available? Is this guy available? Just a note, just pin it wherever you want to pin it. Miles Turner is available to be traded on December 15th, just like all them other boys. Just pin that in wherever you want to pin it. NYC Randy Super Chat says, you can feel how you want to feel about Giannis, But faking an injury, is that what people are saying in the chat? I haven't looked. You think this is Denzel? Also, why does everybody just trust Shams, who has reported nothing? I promise you, chat, we're gonna get to the Giannis stuff. We just got to talk about this game first, and then we will get to the Giannis. I promise you, we will talk about all that. Pin that thought, NYC. I don't think he faked the injury. I don't think he faked the injury. We'll talk about it, though. How about AJ Green tonight? 19 points, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 6 of 12 from the field, 5-11, launching. Kuzma, I didn't think it was his best outing, but he did have some good minutes, some good moments. That dunk was huge. He had a pass to AJ Green that was huge. Couple tip outs, rebounds. Wasn't his best night, but he found a way to stay on the floor in the fourth quarter. 4 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 2 of 7 from 3. Had to shoot a couple grenades there, like he was on Jersey Shore. But again, he found a way to make himself useful a little bit. Gary Trent Jr., 3 points. How about Bobby Portis? I give Bobby Portis credit where it's due. Second half, I thought Bobby Portis played very well. 13 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists tonight for Bobby Portis. He was a plus 18 tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That was impact from Bobby Portis. All that twerking, Bobby, for altercations, I don't really care about it. All I care about is what you do on the floor, and he found a way to play good basketball on the floor. That's what I appreciate tonight. And then, man, I'm going to tell you right now, my game ball is going, I'm going to split it because I'm going to give half, I'm telling you now, I'm giving half my game ball to Doc Rivers because I thought he had a masterful game plan. Everybody comes in chat every night and says that the reason the coach energizes the players and the coach has to be responsible for all this and all that. Well, damn it, give Doc Rivers credit because those guys look energized tonight. And how about Jericho Sims? 15 points, 14 rebounds a night. He looked at Miles Turner and said, this is how you rebound. He closed the fridge with his hands. That's what he did tonight. Jericho Sims show you how to close that refrigerator. How about it tonight, Jericho? He was a plus 12. Give these guys all the credit. The Detroit Pistons on the other side of things. Thompson, 10 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals. Tobias Harris thought played really well, 20 and 5. Jalen Duren, 8.6 boards, 3 assists. Big impact from Duren just because he on the floor because he kept fouling. Jenkins was 7. Cade, pedestrian night, 17, 7 and 7. Jaden Ivey, I thought played well, 15 and 6. Isaiah Stewart, another man-child who can't control himself, 5 points, 4 rebounds. I'd be sick of it. I know Justin hates when I talk about how sick I am of Bobby Portis, and I'd be sick of Isaiah Stewart. I can't stand him. He can't control himself. He's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot. Karis LeVert, 4 points. Ron Holland, 5 points. Paul Reed had a little special where he came in and just started cooking for like 3 minutes on his own. But again, you got to get a Bucks credit tonight. I won't be long here. I will say this, moving forward, that is still tough sledding. It is very hard to play. The Bucks basically played a zone for 48 minutes. They won a game where they played a zone for 4 quarters. They got down 21-4 or whatever it was and decided to play zone for the rest of the game. And it worked. And that was surprising. JB Bickerstaff, I don't know if he couldn't figure it out. I can't call it, but it worked. KPJ was really good. Bucks offensively, I thought, got into their things and did what they wanted to do. And again, Marcus Johnson talked about it on the broadcast where he talked about how KPJ is just different. When you have a guy that can slice and dice and dash and get to where he wants and do all the little things, you have that with KPJ. And then Rollins on both ends, two-way guy. And again, I'll just say this. When you have your best players, KPJ played 35 minutes. Rollins played 39. KPJ probably would have played more, but he had 4 fouls as well. When you have your guys that are able to play longer than Detroit's guys, again, Cade played 35 minutes, and Rollins and Porter were 38 and 35. AJ Green was 39. You got to run your horses. And that's what, Daniel Joseph says he wants Trina Turner. Trina Turner's crazy. Trina Turner's crazy. But that was the difference. And then I'll say this, and I'll let you go, JT. The other thing I'll say is on the what we talk about every night, and everybody knows this isn't a secret: defense, rebounding. Defense, rebounding. Jericho Sims had 14 rebounds tonight. Bobby Portis, 9 rebounds. When Kuzma, back tips, all those things, you needed those. You still got a rebound by 4, but you're able to get Duren out with the fouls. That was big. Of course, Giannis goes down early in the game, 3 minutes in. He goes down. We will talk about Giannis. I want to table the Giannis discussion, and we'll talk about everything that transpired today. But tonight was a big win for the Milwaukee Bucks. They get it done 113-109. I love it. I love it for this basketball team. So many questions about this basketball team, and they came, showed a lot of effort tonight. Even if they had lost, you would have got, and Marcus Johnson talked about it, the moral victory, whatever. They didn't just get the moral victory. They went out and got a dub, 113-109. That's what I saw, JT. What you see?
Man, a whole lot of what you saw and a few additional items. Man, so one thing talking about tonight, yes, this is what we talked about. We said this pre-show. You saw this team show the fight that you've been looking for all season. I mean, Giannis was out, and you saw, to be fair to this team, you saw that when Giannis was out against Golden State earlier this year too. But looking at this team and just looking at the fight, these guys could have tucked their tails. I told you, they could have just said, you know what, we pissed down our leg. It was 4-20. We're cooked here. And they didn't do that. The way they scrapped and came back in that first half, to me, is remarkable for a couple of reasons. One, this team went like 4 for 20 from the three-point line in that first half. If you would have told me that a team against the Detroit Pistons with no Giannis and going 4 for 20 from the three-point line would be within 3, I wouldn't have believed you. But I love the way they scrapped and kind of held it together and turned this thing around instead of tucking their tails and doing what we've seen them do before, where the body language is there. Wait, we ain't got it tonight. Second thing, you talked about my guy, Jericho Sims. Actually, it was Chris's guy, because Chris is the one. Chris put everybody on when he first arrived last year. What I said before, hey, y'all found out about the walls of Jericho tonight, baby. Those of y'all who ain't been reading your Bibles, go ahead and just snip it, or we can just Google this thing. Boy, that wall, you saw what he had. And this is important to me because we've never really seen Jericho Sims give much. There may have been a handful of games where you've seen him give much of an offensive contribution. But a lot of times we liked him a little bit more for his defense, explosive play. And you saw Jericho Sims can do it. And the fact that he was perfect from the field tonight, man, unbelievable. And this was a night where we needed that. You 100%. One thing I really like about what he did as well is we talk about things being in the aggregate, the sum of all moving parts. Everybody's got to do their part. Everything. And you see that when you have a player like Giannis that can't cover up everything for the and everybody's got to get out there and work. And what did Jericho Sims do? Hey, you know what? You ain't got it tonight, big dog. I got you. In the beginning, when it looked a little shaky in that first half for Bobby as well. You know what? I got y'all. Let me just show y'all. I got space on my shoulders. Let me put y'all on my back for a little bit, right? And that was kind of how this thing went. And, man, and then the other thing, guard play. Guard play, especially in that second half. Between Ryan Rollins, KPJ second half had 10 points. AJ Green in the second half had 11 points. And Ryan Rollins in that second half had 12 points. That's what I'm talking about, is everybody chipping in and getting their contributions. I was very, very impressed with that. The last thing I'm going to say here, and I'll let you go, Chris. Most important thing tonight, what did the Bucks shoot from the free throw line? 20 of 21, 95%. That's what I'm talking about. Make your free throw. Man, good win for the Bucks tonight. I'm all over it. Over to you, Chris.
Yeah, and I'm going to expand on that because when you mention the positives of the guards and when you mention the positives of Jericho Sims, I think they all tie in together. Look, KPJ did a phenomenal job of just throwing it up there. Jericho up there somewhere, he'll get it and put it down. So I really like seeing that. I like seeing KPJ facilitate and get the ball to AJ Green and let him fire threes. Like, that's what some of the chat has been telling us. We haven't really been talking about it too much or mention it too much, but AJ Green needs more shots. He does need more shots. And when he gets it going, right, he had that big three. It's like 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. We're down 5 points. He knocks down a big three from KPJ. And he was on a heater in that fourth quarter, and that's what you love to see. Although the guards got selfish at times, and especially late in this basketball game, the hero ball from KPJ had an atrocious possession. The hero ball a couple of times from Ryan Rollins had a couple of atrocious possessions. It never felt like once that they weren't trying to get the ball back on the defensive end. Those two guys were working so hard on the defensive end, preventing straight line drives, getting in passing lanes, making their length felt when they were guarding at the top of that zone. So, like, they did a great job with their effort as well if it wasn't going their way on the offensive side. And then, yeah, everywhere else, like Gary Trent, I mean, he hit a couple big shots tonight throughout the game. Everybody chipped in to do their part. A couple of energizing plays from everybody down the line, even Miles Turner with that big dunk. I know we've talked about him not playing all that much, but down the stretch. But, you know, Kuz with another big dunk, a couple big dunks. Like, this was a total team effort from this Milwaukee Bucks team and something that we had been missing throughout the first 20-plus games of this season. And, you know, I think if we just continue to keep playing with that same effort and then getting, what do we get, like 49, 48 points from those two guards. They play well together. This can be a turning point.
Yeah, before I get to the post-game stuff from Doc, I mean, just cut the crap, man. Like, the amount of calf injuries we saw last year that led to Achilles, like, regardless of what you feel about what Giannis did, I know we're going to get to that. Like, that man is not going out there faking an injury. I don't think any NBA player is going to fake an injury. And if anything, if he wants to be traded, the dumbest thing in the world would be to go out there and get hurt. Let's get to AJ Green. I mean, sometimes you just be like, yo, anyway. AJ Green said after the game, complete team effort on both ends of the basketball floor. Talked about KPJ, Ryan Rollins set the tone on offense and defense. And with those threes today, that is 74 three-pointers. That is now a Bucks record through 23 games for Mr. Derry Bird. Doc Rivers, no update on Giannis. He was doing an MRI directly after it, and he didn't even change clothes or anything. He went straight to the hospital. Doc did later on in a press conference, someone else asked a question, and he said that Achilles has been ruled out. He did not think it was a contact-less injury, though. Felt like he was bumped. Someone kind of landed on it a little bit, and that's what led to it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I jumped out of that. They tried to make a joke about it. Well, not a joke. They said we lost X amount of games or whatever, and Doc was like, well, actually, we won 2 out of 3, and it's a great win. Thought that they had some great looks in that first quarter in the first half. Then Giannis got hurt. I don't know. Jericho was absolutely amazing. Man, I should be a doctor the way I write sometimes. Jericho's amazing. He's a roller, and he rolls a lot when Giannis isn't in the game. The way he rebounds and defends the basketball is great. And then the funny part about that press conference was he said when he made the free throw, he's not sure what hand he shot it with, but it went in. A lot of 3-man work this morning with Giannis, KPJ, and Ryan Rollins. And that's what led to a lot of this success with those 2 guys on the offensive end. Ryan Rollins' defense was absolutely amazing. And then he switched. So they wanted to put size on Cade Cunningham, and then they switched to the point guard, and that would be Rollins and KPJ. And then when he got in the paint, that's when they wanted to send help. Want to really keep the focus on just getting buckets. Once we're down 21-4, just get a bucket here, get a bucket there, and you can't, get it all back at once. This is the Kevin Porter Jr. that the Bucks team knew. I think the 4 of us knew. I think some of you fans that support him, you sad people on Twitter that prayed for his demise, hey, I'm sorry for you, but the kid can hoop. AJ Green's making tough shots, just absolutely amazing, and he's shooting a lot more of them, and they're hard shots as well. Thought that Bobby had good energy in the first half, but he just couldn't score the basketball. And then the reason why he went with not with Miles at the end of the second half was 1, the foul trouble. And then 2, he just felt like the group on the floor had it going. And I think Bobby played the whole fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably did.
Yeah, I don't really have much else on it. I mean, you gentlemen said it all. I just think it's absolutely phenomenal that this team found a way to win. Everything was doom and gloom all day long. If you listen to Sports Talk Radio in Milwaukee, it was horrid. If you listen to the national media, God bless your heart for listening to that, because we knew what that was going to be. And, man, it's refreshing. These guys can play basketball. This supporting cast is not as bad as what was been alluded to earlier on in the year. But what I do think is we can sustain a run without Giannis for a little bit. And we can sustain a run without KPJ for a little bit, but we cannot sustain a run with both of them being gone.
Yeah.
Well, now you've shown that you can win without him. You've shown this group, look, y'all can do it without him. So that's another thing is getting that confidence back and play. If it's going to be 2 weeks or if it's going to be 3, whatever that is, this group has shown that when you guys play at your best, you can beat a very good. The Pistons are going to be most likely. The Pistons will be a top 3 seed this year, and if they keep up this pace, they most likely will be a top 3 seed in the East here. So that is a good team at this point, and you beat a good team. Not only did you beat a good team tonight, but you were down. This good team, they was walking around with the belt around their neck. It wasn't going belt to ass, but it was getting there. It was, oh man, we down 17 at one point. Here we go, right? and you came back. You found a way to go, and you really can't. To me, it's more impressive if you found a way to come back without having a 3-point shot like that. You found a way to come back. I mean, yes, the second half was a lot better. I think we finished the night shooting like 32% because we made a lot more in the second half than in the first. But I mean, the fact that everybody chipped in and you did it in the aggregate, and you got contributions from people who you typically don't think about him doing anything for you offensively, but tonight, all night you saw that. That's what I think you can really build off of, and seeing like how everybody and seeing what everybody can do, and seeing how good you can be when everybody plays up to their potential.
And time's out for playing around. And the Bucks played 9 guys tonight. They played 9 guys tonight. You didn't see Cole Anthony, no minutes. Let me backtrack that. You really didn't play 9 guys. Giannis only played 3 minutes. So you really played 8 guys tonight. You really played 8 guys. You didn't see no Cole Anthony minutes. Wasn't no Gary Harris to come in and do whatever he does. Wasn't no Amir Coffey coming in to play basketball. No, you played your better players and you rolled them. Kuzma sat for long stretches tonight. Turner sat for extremely long stretches tonight. And I agree. You got to go with the high end. So again, a lot of people don't give Doc Rivers his credit and whatever, but and some rightfully so for some of the things Doc Rivers does, rotations, whatever. You couldn't be mad at rotations tonight. Doc Rivers coached this game like he needed it. And if that means you got to sit down the guy you gave $100-some million to this offseason, you sit his ass down. Someone said Trina Turner, what's rebounds got to do with it? 3 boards tonight for Miles Turner. It wasn't enough. And again, Doc's got to continue to hammer home this message. If you're not going to compete and you're not going to go out there and try and give the effort, you're going to sit down. And what I do like, even though Giannis is going to be gone, and I'm assuming any type of calf strain, it's going to be at 2 weeks minimum. You're probably talking 3 weeks minimum calf strain at this point with the way Achilles go. It didn't look like an Achilles injury to me. I'm glad. I don't know if you said that Doc Rivers said somebody landed on him or something like that. So I'm good that it wasn't just a straight up non-contact injury. I didn't feel like it was an Achilles. You never know. But that's going to be a 3-week injury at minimum. Again, if you're a cynic, people out there, obviously, I just don't think he would fake it. But that's going to put him right around that, December 15th. 2 weeks is right around December 15th. So we're going to figure that thing out pretty soon. But if you have Rollins playing like this and KPJ playing like this, and again, the question is, I think we've seen it from Rollins so far throughout this season that he consistently can be most of what we saw tonight. Now, will he put up 30-some every night? No, but can he consistently be what we saw tonight some? I think so from an effort impact standpoint on both ends of the floor. And then same thing with the questions about KPJ, because he's only played a handful of games. Can he be consistent in what he has? I'm glad that he has strung together multiple good performances, because it was much more up and down when we saw him last year, highs and lows. So far this season, in the 3 or 4 games he's played, he seems more consistent. AJ Green has his role. Bobby, it seems like the guys the only person that doesn't really have a role. Like you think about it, KPJ has a role. Rollins has a role. AJ Green, defined role. I think even Gary Jr. Trixon has a role. Bobby Portis, when he comes in, I don't always like his role, but I think he has it. Sims, picks, roll, hard screens, deep, roll. The only person who doesn't have a role right now is Miles Turner. And again, unless his role is I'm just going to pull up threes, he, to me, doesn't have a really good role that makes a lot of sense for him. But they've got to figure that thing out. If they can implement him, great. If not, we got to find guys to give rebounds. And I was proud of the effort tonight. And the question is, can they sustain this over these next 3-4 weeks while Giannis is out enough to where he will be comfortable coming back? And that's where we'll go to, and we can still get back to this maybe in a second, but this is where we'll go to the Giannis discussion from this afternoon. And it started. Go ahead, JT.
I was going to make this point. So one thing I'll say is, with this lineup and with Giannis being out, when you ask if this is sustainable, I'll say the only way it's going to be sustainable, I do think, and we've said this before, you're going to need either somebody step up, which of course looks like maybe that becomes Jericho Sims as well. You're going to need a better effort probably from you're going to need a better outcome, better output from Kuzma. It's not an effort issue. He just didn't really have it tonight. But the other thing is, though, somebody, either Gary Trent or Derry Bird, is going to have to be a bit more reliable. You're going to need if you're gonna try to go maybe 500 while he's out, or at least keep this thing close, right? Maybe you go 375, whatever that is. You're gonna need that combination because it's gonna have to be done, like we always say, in the aggregate.
Good. Chris, you have something? Or Justin? Go ahead.
Yeah, so my bad.
Sorry, go.
I mean, I just thought of something, like, if you ask if this is sustainable, right? I mean, I think it all falls on, yes, Jericho Sims, if he's going to step into that role and create more rebounding opportunities for you. But also, I mean, KPJ as just a ball-dominant, bail-you-out kind of guard that can score, that can get to his spots, that can make something happen when nothing seems to be going right. Because we've had these experiences with Giannis out and KPJ out. Ryan Rollins did it one time versus the Warriors, I think it was, where he was able to drop like a 30-piece and they were able to get a win. But now this adds another dynamic in the backcourt to where, okay, if Ryan isn't out there, you see how the offense is impacted with KPJ out there, as opposed to if it was Cole Anthony, as opposed to if it was any other backup guard that you would play in those minutes where Rollins is out. And that's why I think the KPJ's impact is just so very clear to me on this basketball team, and that's why you would be a little more optimistic if Giannis is to miss a big stretch of time.
Yeah, I think that, for all the slander, of course I'm going to get called the Doc lover, which he's a head coach of the Bucks. I like him. I'm going to like whoever our head coach is. When Joe Prunty was our head coach, I liked him too. But I think it's one other guy in the NBA who has unlocked Kevin Porter Jr. the way that Doc Rivers has, and that's Steven Silas when he was in Houston. No one else has done this, so I think Doc deserves a little bit of credit for that because he's put this guy in a situation to win and show his best talents. But, of course, it's fire Doc. But as far as sustaining this, I think you're going to need a lot more of that Miles Turner from Miami when Giannis was missing. He was 24-8 that game. And what I want him to do is I want him to keep shooting the ball. But Miles has to remember, you're still athletic as hell. You're not 37. You're 29. Pump fake and go to the basket. Yeah, and he can do that. I don't need a back to the basket Ben Baker type basketball game, but we do need you to do something more.
Yeah, no, 100%. That dunk was huge. Again, we talk about all the time that V word, versatility. I need a little more versatility. Again, you can't be out Sims where you're just rolling to the basket and picking up rebounds and layups off of it. I understand that, but you got to give me some of that. You can't just be pick and pop, and as soon as you get the ball, you're looking for a DHO. So I get that piece. Colts Nation in here crying, talking about Giannis is leaving. Ha, 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 ha. Big Sig is losing, Colts Nation. How about that?
Easy. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. We're not catching Big Sig. Big Sig don't need to take any strays from you tonight, sir. We're not doing that.
Yeah,
Colts still 84. Stop
that's
playing.
how we're gonna do that. If you want to come in here. But yeah, the Pacers fan chat again. They came here to talk. We winning tonight, baby. We win tonight. Pacers still losing by double digits. We beat the Detroit Pistons. But okay. So that's where let's segue into the Giannis stuff, because I know that's what everybody's in here. Some of you guys want to talk about. And it started earlier this afternoon where, and again, you knew this was coming. You knew this was coming, okay? When the Bucks start off 9-13 and had that hard, because I also, again, I'm not saying when there's smoke, there's fire. I know that. I'm not saying that no discussions have been had, and I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, look at the timing. Are you telling me the Bucks had beat the Washington? Because if he was having, you telling the Bucks had beat the Washington Wizards that this conversation would have been, because you would have beat the Wizards, and then you'd have been, you want to say 2 out of 3. That'd have been 3 out of 3, 3 out of 4, or whatever it is, right, Justin? You're telling me if they had beat the Wizards that we'd have been having that we'd had this conversation this afternoon. And then here's the thing: it started with Big Windy, and Big Windhorse goes on. And here's why it doesn't make sense either. Big Windhorse goes on ESPN Cleveland, and I don't even know what they were talking about. But he goes on ESPN Cleveland Radio, a local ESPN station in Cleveland. And all he did was repeat Sham's story from this summer. That's why I couldn't believe what I was hearing as far as like how big it became, because he was talking about the fact that him and that Giannis and the Knicks had already had, the Knicks and the Bucks had conversations before. And I'm not saying he wasn't being facetious, but he said something to the effect of, you just listen to it. He says, listen, Giannis already asked for a trade. And the funny thing is, if you go, and again, I'm not saying where there's not smoke, there's not fire. But Shams, who had heard who gave you this story in the summer that Giannis was potentially going to leave or whatever, he never, the guy who got the sources never stated it as if Giannis had requested a trade. So then now we're in December, and as Windhorse is describing it, he now, and that's where these things as far as like, that's what I was kind of accusing Shams of this summer, was exaggerating. I thought he exaggerated some of the talks. Well, the Bucks and the Knicks talked. Well, yeah, the Knicks called the Bucks and they asked about, we're not disagreeing with that. Or we talked about this before, the Dallas Mavericks, before they called, or as they called the Lakers to get Luka for AD, they also called the Bucks. Does that, if I say it like the Bucks and the Mavericks were in trade discussions for Giannis, that's a different ring to it. So Windhorse points it out as if on a story that's already been talked about, he then comes out and says Giannis already asked for a trade. Because I guess if you were to believe Shams, you would believe the story that Giannis said, well, if there was a team I would go to, it was going to be the New York Knicks. And so they had this negotiating window where it sounds like, whether who you believed it, the Bucks called the Knicks, the Knicks called the Bucks. The Bucks heard whatever the Knicks were talking about and said, no, we're not doing that, and moved on. So now Windhorse is just repeating the same. Nothing was different about this story. But that picks up steam. And then later, again, whether Shams is giving new information, he then states that Giannis's agent and Giannis have, and again, listen to the wording. I wish somebody pull up the tweet. He says they're having discussions about whether or not it makes sense for him to stay or go, or maybe he's a better fit elsewhere. And my question there is, what the hell does that even mean? So they're still not, I guess my thing is, they're not even pushing this. What exactly did he say?
Justin, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and his agent, Alex Saristas, have started conversations with the Milwaukee Bucks about the two-time NBA MVP's future and discussing whether his best.
I'm gonna stop it like a preacher. What was said? Start. What did they say? What did they say, Deacon? Start it over, Deacon. What they say in that book, Deacon? He said what?
I've been called a lot of stuff in my life, but never Deacon. It's never been one of them.
Come on, Deacon. What did he say?
He said that they have started conversations with the Milwaukee Bucks.
They have started conversation. What does that?
Not the Southern preacher voice.
They've started conversations.
So
what does that mean?
So
you want me to read the rest of it real quick?
Oh, let him finish. I won't stop you. Just read it. They've started conversations. Go.
Discussing whether his best fit is staying or elsewhere. Sources tell ESPN. A resolution is expected in the coming weeks. Go ahead, JT. I'm sorry, bro.
That to me was the most important part of that tweet, is when you say the resolution is coming in the coming weeks. Now the question is, does that mean coming 2-3 weeks? Does that mean coming 6 weeks? Does that mean coming 15 weeks? What does that mean? But that is the most important thing to me, because you said a resolution is coming. Okay, so if that's the case, assuming this is true and credible, we'll have an idea of the direction of this franchise in the coming weeks if this is right? And now you have something that you can press Shams on. Okay, Shams, you can keep people start pressing Shams. Like, look,
we should have already been pressing him, because he said that it was going to be this offseason. Then he said it was going to be before the season. And now he says the trade deadline. And now he says a resolution is coming in the coming weeks. So that's what he said. But also, I'm going to tell you this from what I know. Giannis doesn't leak stuff. Giannis' camp doesn't leak stuff. And number two, if Giannis' camp were to leak stuff, he doesn't like Shams. They would never leak it to Shams. So I'm telling you, Shams is getting this either second or third hand from either a team source or other teams. And again, it would be great if he's hearing it if he has a source in the Bucks that's giving him this information. And that would kind of give you some more indication as to what he's talking about. But if he's getting this from another team, then I'm not sure how much of it is to believe. But here's what I will tell you. And what I have gathered and what I've heard is that Doc Rivers got on the podium before the game started and stated that Giannis had not requested a trade. Now, again, Shams is talking about because that's the thing. This is why it also doesn't make sense. So Wendy said he had requested a trade, and now Shams is saying now we're further along, and Shams is now saying, well, they've started discussions. So they're all over the place at ESPN. But what I will say is what I would say I've confirmed is that Doc Rivers told the truth today at his press conference where he stated that Giannis has never formally requested a trade. From what I heard is from people in the building, hashtag sources, they're saying, is there some concern in the building? There may be some concern in the building, but Giannis has not requested a trade. Has not happened.
That's the issue, though. The story that the story that came out earlier, and this was in the summer. I was led to believe that basically the Knicks inquired about trading for Giannis, and the Bucks just shut that down. Now all of a sudden, it now seems like the way the story came out earlier, it was Giannis requested a trade before the season and said the Knicks were one of the destinations that he wanted to go to. So which is it? Because I'll tell you, if it's the latter, if Giannis requested a trade before the season and said the Knicks is where, okay, then I think there's some real smoke, there's some real fire there. Like, all right, he good as no. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Because if you've already requested a trade and you've already done that, right? But if he hasn't done that, then I agree with you. That is like, okay, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? This isn't adding up. But I will say, today was the first time I saw a source come out and say he requested a trade before the season. Because the way this thing, the previous thing about his interest in New York, I thought that was New York trying to offer a trade to the Bucks, and they quickly shot that down like that. Because here's the other thing: if you're an NBA GM, why wouldn't you every summer request trades for the best player, knowing damn well it may or may not get shut? Hey, I'm gonna make a proposal. Right? And this is kind of my job to do everything I can to get my team better. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit you. Yeah, give me Anthony Edwards. Give me whoever it is. Why wouldn't you be doing that? So that's another thing. It's like, how did this trade in the summer go down? Because if it was the Knicks just calling the Bucks with some frivolous trade offer and they shut it down, then this really is a non-story. But if Giannis was like, well, no, I'm requesting a trade out of here, and the Knicks or I'm thinking of requesting a trade out of here, the Knicks is where I go, then I think you really do. You got to pay a lot more attention to it.
Now, I think this whole thing coming about this rapid is really telling and eye-opening that everything that you Bucks fans, us as Bucks fans, have been worried about with what the national media does, which is why you guys tuned into the Cream City crossover, I might add, that really might be true. Like, they really might not want him. Maybe it's from the top. Maybe it's Adam Silver making those decisions, because the product on the floor right now is not great, right? But like all of that stuff, right when adversity hits this season, right when they allow it to, Bucks start off 8-5, right when they allow it to balloon to 9-13, this all comes out. And why I have a huge problem with it is not that they're talking about him requesting a trade or having these conversations. This is now creating smoke in the media everywhere. You're seeing New York's going to prepare an offer. You're seeing San Antonio's going to prepare an offer. You're seeing different teams are going to push hard to try to get Giannis in the building. And that is just super disheartening to see, and it's got to have these guys a little rattled at some point. You talked about how maybe this was a motivating win for this team because of what goes on behind closed doors and what's going on all over social media. And I would say that it has to have an effect on this Bucks team. So I'm furious, honestly, that this is taking place. It seems like a ploy to try to get Giannis out of Milwaukee, and it's been that way for years on years now. And you see, I don't really know, obviously we don't know Giannis personally, but you see the things that he does pregame in the tunnel, having an extra fiery conversation. You see these things and you're like, okay, is Giannis really feeling this way about how he wants to be out? Or is this a way for him to try to, I don't know, ignite a fire into these guys pregame to play better? I don't know what it is, but yeah, this national media stuff is trash. It's BS. And that's why, again, you guys tune into us.
I will say, though, it does seem like it's accelerating at a pace a bit faster than it has in the past.
Yeah. This
is the first time I can remember regular season where they really tried to create smoke here. I think my concern now, Giannis did before the season. I think he said something like, "I'm in Milwaukee," but he reserved the right to change his mind in the next 6-7 months. Or he said something along the lines of that, and people were mad because they're like, he could put this out. He could put these. He could extinguish all this by coming out and saying it. And I think he's tried to do that before. But this is something where I'm not convinced that Shams and Windhorst are pulling this out of thin air. So like Trey said, are they getting this second, third hand? Is this a bad game of telephone? I'm not really sure. But I will say that this feels like there's something there, and it hasn't really felt like that in the past. But given what we're seeing here, it feels like there may be something there with this report. So it's definitely something to pay attention to over the next few weeks for sure.
I think this is the first time where it actually felt like a punch to the gut for me. Like, I wasn't upset or mad. I was disappointed, man. And I'm disappointed because of who Giannis portrays himself to be. And this is if he's asking for this trade. Let me clarify that as well. If he's asking for this trade, number one, don't be coy about it. Like you just said, JT, and that was going to be my point. Either come out and say, yes, I want to be traded, or right now I'm on the Milwaukee Bucks for this contract, period. And just shut it down. Because not only is it demoralizing, and you see all the stuff on Twitter, you see the stuff in the chat, you see the stuff like Chris was mentioning on all the different trade packages and stuff. How does AJ Green feel about that? How does Miles Turner feel about that? How does KPJ feel about it? How do your teammates feel about it? These guys got to come out here and hoop too. And if we're really trying to make a push for the playoffs, and I think that if you see a lot of this KPJ, a healthy guy like we saw tonight, and a healthy guy in 34, the East is wide open. And this team can make a push with a healthy team. And Doc said that in his press conference. But it bothered me, man. And if Giannis is asking for a trade, and this is only off of what they're reporting, off of a loss to the Washington Wizards, where his effort was not what normal Giannis effort is, where everybody's effort wasn't at the level it should have been, with the exception of maybe KPJ. Give or take a couple instances here. It's absolutely disheartening that this team has been constructed for you. Everything that you wanted has been done. You wanted Dame, we got Dame. We held on to Chris for too long because he's your homie. We held on to Drew for too long because he's your homie. We held on to Brook Lopez because he's your homie. We brought in Adrian Griffin because that's who you wanted. Then you didn't like him, and we fired him, and we brought in Doc. So it's all this Doc stuff. And that's what I was getting to. And then we brought the other brother. You got two brothers on the squad. There is nothing more that the Milwaukee Bucks, John Horst, or anybody could have done for him. We've pissed away every draft pick we possibly have. And I'm not comfortable trading Giannis. My stance is, if you want to trade, you're going to be here. Shout out to the homie Sparky. Or you're going to sit at home for 2 years. So stop letting these players run the damn league.
So now here's the thing, and I know Trey's gonna make this point, so I know Trey's gonna hammer away at this. But if you're gonna trade Giannis, like Trey always says, your job, John Horst's job, is to be loyal to the Bucks. You don't care. We're not sending you to your preferred destination unless they send us a preferred package, a preferred compensation package. I mean, this is not gonna be a let's do you a solid. We're not gonna do you how Luka ends up in LA. Like, if we got to send you to DC because they got the best package, or they got to, then that's one thing. But the other thing is, I don't think the Knicks don't make a sense for a lot of reasons. Sending him to the Knicks for a lot, I don't see a world in which that really makes a lot of sense to do, because, like Trey said, we're going to ask for everything, so we're going to pretty much gut the Knicks. And I'm not sure that owners, everybody feel comfortable. Yeah, we get 4 draft picks from the Knicks, or 5 or 6 draft picks. That's great. Where are they picking in the draft? Do you want to give John Horst a chance, 6 chances at picks 22 to 30, and you've already seen what he does with picks in that range? No. So it's just a lot to consider here. But I agree. I mean, I'm sure Trey's gonna elaborate, but no, I think the Bucks, you're gonna take any and everything that another team has if there's gonna be a trade for Giannis.
I'll say one real quick thing. Went today, when I thought this was really going to come to fruition, or it was going, I finally understood what my mother, my father, my grandparents, what they felt when Lou Alcindor, now known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, was traded from the Bucks.
I'm going to super chat here. NYC Randy 26 says, yeah, guys, the Bucks medical staff are going to help GA fake his injury, confirming his calf strain. Makes a lot of sense, chat. Guy wants to be traded, but comes back early on 1 week from a growing. People are dumb. Just making a comment there that he doesn't believe that Giannis would have would affect the injury, or that the Bucks medical staff's going to do anything there to assist with that. But going back to your point, JTA, no, you're 100% right. The Bucks don't owe. At the end of the day, the Bucks don't owe Giannis one thing. They don't owe him a thing. He gets paid handsomely. Now, you could argue don't get paid enough for what he's done for the city, but they pay him as much as they are allowed to pay him, and they have done everything they can for him. So you're right. And again, I'll just go back to, because again, he has not requested a trade. That's what I'm hearing. That doesn't. I don't believe, again, outside of Windhorst saying it, which is crazy because he's reporting on somebody else's report. I've never heard that Giannis has requested a trade. And that's why it's so hard to take some of this stuff serious, because again, when you're talking about somebody else's story and you've added on to, like, Shams didn't say that Giannis requested a trade, but you took Shams' story and have now, again, talk about the telephone. You'd say one thing, and then somehow it goes from this summer one thing to today being he requested a trade, which, again, just logically, if that was true, why would Windhorst report that on ESPN Cleveland on a damn phone interview? It doesn't even matter. Why would that? You know what? I'm going to break this news talking to a local radio station in Cleveland. That makes no sense at all. But going back to it, JT, yeah, no, the Bucks don't owe him anything. Again, whether he's having this conversation with or not, you don't owe him anything. And again, I'm not saying you're part of the problem, because he's not, but the injuries he sustained, the Bucks never they never had a chance to defend their championship without injury. Chris Middleton, 22, Giannis, 23, 24 was that Giannis again, and 25 was Dame. Mm-hmm. So every single year post-championship, the Bucks have had injuries. He's been responsible in some way for some of it, and it hasn't come to fruition. And again, you're just not. It's just not a guarantee you're going to get to compete for championships or anything like that. And JT, to your other point where you said, oh, or whoever's talking about, like, Giannis can shut this down. He can shut it down. Mm-hmm. Before the season, Giannis said, I reserve the right to he said, I'm here with the team for the season. I reserve the right to change my mind in 6 or 7 months. Yep. Has it been 6 or 7 months since October?
No.
It has not. So for anybody to tell me, well, Giannis can just shut the conversation down on his own, no, he can't. Because it doesn't matter what he says. If to me, we shouldn't even be talking about this again until the end of this season. But we're talking about it. So I don't know that he can say anything at all and that change the perception around what people are going to say, what they want to do. And by the way, to the other point about the Knicks or whoever, yeah, if I'm the Bucks, I'm gutting everything. You don't owe them nothing. Yeah. I'm gutting your entire team. And again, I don't think you don't have to do this mid-year. You have them under contract next year. So you can easily wait till the summer where even more picks will be available or what have you. And again, that's probably what I'd be inclined to do. I don't think I would trade him. this summer. Before the deadline, I just wouldn't do it. I haven't seen the team enough together. Now he's about to be hurt again. I'm not trading. You're gonna stick it out, and we're gonna figure this thing out. But yeah, it is like you said. It is the whole thing is disheartening that this conversation is even happening. But yeah, I again, why would I send you to the Knicks? I might send you to Brooklyn. I might say, the other thing I say on this though, Chris, I want to get your thoughts too. The other thing I say on this is I wouldn't, if I'm him, look what just happened to Dame. And Dame's ass is right back in Portland. If I'm him, look what happened to KD. You think about Golden State, that's never going to be your home. KD won 2 chips there, 2 finals MVPs, and never got the validation he sought. That's why his ass is in Houston now. He never got the validation he thought he was going to get. That will always be Steph Curry's team. It'll never be your team. So Golden State should never be that. Again, if there was an option to think about, maybe Brooklyn, maybe something like that where you can start at Orlando, something like that. Why would people talking about OKC in one? If I was OKC, I wouldn't do it. But why? Okay, they already won a chip. You'll never be Shea to them. They already got their MVP. They already got their guy. So if you're going anywhere that already has a guy established and going to team up and play with him, you'll never be the most loved. Number one, here's the other thing. You know what will happen? You will be the scapegoat. And I'm not saying that Damian Lillard was the scapegoat here. It just so happened. Because again, you said, bro, you'll always be the guy that came in and was, unless you win a championship, you're the guy that came in and screwed up whatever they had going. That's what you will be. And you'll be begging for the love that you got in Milwaukee.
Well, and then also, like, with that point, Trey, becomes, I mean, how many teams does Giannis necessarily fit on? And we saw, you know, him with a superstar in Dame right next to a superstar, another ball-dominant guy. And how is that going to work with Wemby? How is that going to work with Shea? How is that going to work with Jalen Brunson, who seems to have the ball in his hands a lot? Like, that's your other thing you're up against, because we've known the best Giannis teams to be surrounded by a ton of shooters and not really having that ball-dominant guys who can just take backseat roles. How many stars are willing to do that? So that's what I think you also have to consider when you think about, is the grass going to be greener? Well, you've got to look at the way that this team is built, and you haven't seen this team as a full, complete unit for, what, one game? Maybe one game against, I think it was it the Knicks, where KPJ comes back? So, like, that's what you're up against. You're not only up against being the scapegoat, but is it really going to work anywhere else?
Well, you talk about Wemby, and Wemby's one injury away from us saying, is he just an injury-prone player? He is one more long-term injury away from being. I don't know if I can depend on him being around when they go and get stuff. I don't know if you can depend on that. Again, you mentioned it. New York, small, diminutive guard. You just did. Why would that work? Why would that work in New York better than you had Damian Lillard, small, diminutive guard, needs the ball all the time? Didn't work. You think he's gonna go to New York and all of a sudden he's gonna be a pick and roll screen merchant roll? Oh, you know what? I didn't do it when Dame was here. I didn't want to set hard screens, but now that we got Jalen Brunson, I'm a screen and I'm a roll to the back. He's never gonna be that guy. That's never gonna be what he does. You're right to some extent. I think, yeah, with the. And I don't know necessarily like what teams he fit with. I think you find when you're a superstar, you got to find ways to fit with him. But yeah, you're right. It's never going to be that play style that always makes sense. If he's not, because again, he's a ball dominant player. I just don't think you can relegate him to play hard defense, be the best defensive player on the floor, and get in where you fit in, grab rebounds, and roll to the basket. And that's how we use you on offense. I never think he will. I don't think he'd even be happy doing that. And then Steeler Face in the chat says, unless he goes, okay, no, there was another one that says grass is green approach rarely works. KD to the Dubs, about the only thing that worked last 15 years. Again, to that point, it worked, but KD still wasn't happy. It didn't. It worked on the floor. How about it works on the floor and you still upset? And guess what? And then they went back and won another ring without you. They didn't need you. They didn't need KD. They won without him.
With isn't LeBron to Miami? That's just outside the 15 years. But even because you hit the nail on the head earlier, Trey, when you're talking about the discrediting for KD's championship, and depending on what side of the pendulum you fall with LeBron James, those are, he had to run to Miami to get it. A lot of people don't give him credit for only just the Cleveland one, and that's it, because he had to stack those teams and stuff like that. And no shade to LeBron. I think he's a immense talent and all that other stuff. But it would be much more fulfilling for Giannis to win a second one in here and help to grow and mature a guy like a Kevin Porter Jr. and a Ryan Rollins. If he won another championship in Milwaukee, he goes down as the best athlete in state history, excluding no one. Maybe one of them damn curlers or something got like 4 gold medals or something like that.
We got to put some respect on Henry, though. We got to put some respect on Henry Aaron. Come on now. We got to put some respect on Henry Aaron.
But Henry's thing is, Henry won the one World Series with the Brewers, but then not in his
Henry's
doing.
Still a home run king too. Let's just see the thing about, I love Barry, but Henry's the real home run king. Bud Selig looked me in my face and told me Henry's the home run king.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like Giannis, it's just such more fulfilling as a legacy. I think no matter what happens when Giannis, if he does go somewhere else, he's always going to be the biggest buck until the next buck comes as bigger. And hell, it took 50 years for someone to come to replace Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Brian Winters retired his number. We retired Junior Bridgman's number. But were they ever in that scope of what Kareem was? No. And just lastly, man, for me, a lot of y'all, and I'm not talking about you gentlemen, but a lot of y'all that are watching, wherever Giannis goes, y'all going to go with him. And y'all going to cheer for him. Or that's going to be your second team. Ain't going to be that way for me. Either. I don't wish no ill will on him. And I hope you lose every damn game. You leave me, I hope it sucks for you. I hope it sucks for Drew in Portland. I hope it sucks for Chris in Washington. Hell, when Wesley Matthews went to Atlanta, I was hoping the Hawks left for every game. I don't care who you are.
But even those guys to me are a little bit different because Chris didn't ask to be traded. Chris got dealt on his own. Drew still crying. Him and his wife still crying about I was asleep and they traded. They still crying about how they got traded. So I'll give you that. And that's why I never held any ill will towards Cam Newton my favorite player of all time, Cam Newton. He didn't ask to leave the Panthers. Right. They kicked him out. It is different to me, and I feel I think everybody should feel the right to feel however they want to feel. If you as the superstar, you didn't get pushed out, you asked out. Or, I'm not saying you didn't ask it. You went out willingly. If you don't want to say he requested a trade, whatever, you went out willingly. If that's how you go out, no, I don't want you. I hope he gets numbers. I hope he does all the accolades he can get. I don't want him to win another ring. I'll be honest about it. I really don't. I don't want you to win another ring with nobody else. If you go somewhere else, I will always root against whatever team he's on. That's me. I'm petty. I'm selfish. I want you to win a ring with me and nowhere else. And again, I do hope he gets all the numbers and you can put up 50 every night. I don't want no other ring outside that Bucks ring.
Yeah, no, look, and y'all know, look, again, Colts, I was a diehard Colts fan. When Peyton Manning went up on the Broncos, you think I was cheering for the Broncos? No, not 1 minute am I absolutely not. Like, no, that's just not what it is. I'm loyal to the city. I don't care about this one player. I'm not loyal to this one player. This would feel like a gut punch, though, because this is Giannis in his prime asking out. This is trading someone in there. It'd be something different if he was over 35. It was like, I want to do something different for my last few years. Yeah, man. You know what? I can understand that. I can respect that. You gave Milwaukee practically your whole career. But at this point, I mean, if he leaves now and he's at 30, I mean, it would. I think it would sting. It would certainly sting a lot more than any of those reference guys, that Trey previously mentioned.
Well, me and Chris King go into the game, and we if he does play for another team, we count the free throws down. We got to
NYC ran another super chat. He says, I learned a couple things today. I want to get on this point too. He says, Bucks turn on their best all-time player. in 2 seconds off a rumor from Shams, who never had any scoop on the Bucks moves ever. It's sad, truly. Let him ask out first. Do you believe any of that people have turned on Giannis? And that's an interesting point. I don't know if people have turned on Giannis. I think people are tired of the constant rumors and I think people are tired of the cloud over the Bucks. And I do believe that a lot of people think that Giannis has a lot to do with that, whether that's fair or foul about how he responds. And because, again, he did say, 6-7 months, I can change my mind.
He opened that door.
Yes, and you do open some of that door. And you're having this after every season. And I think he also, again, is part of that pride thing where he went out and remember after he won that first championship in 21, after the game, he's sitting there. I got it out the mud. I didn't go run. He basically took shots at the guys. He took shots at the guys who ran to different cities to go win. And for you to be in that same situation and now potentially look to do that, it is very interesting. And I think that's some of the reasons as to why I don't think he wants to. I don't think he will ever. I just have a hard time seeing him actually ask for a trade and having that be public knowledge. He doesn't want to do. And because I think you talked about earlier, this is some of Giannis's problem. His brand, his PR, his brand is loyalty. That goes out the. You can't tell everybody how loyal you are when you're leaving a franchise. You've lost them commercials. You got to find another lane because you can't preach loyalty no more, and that's your brand. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough in a different way. Go ahead.
But here's the thing: if he did actually request that trade in the summer that was reported, then that's already out the window, right? Like if he did previously request that trade in the summer to the Knicks,
I think that was Sean's. I think that was Windhorst being a fat ass. He had too many burgers. And his fat ass was blowing smoke out the wrong end this time.
And that's why he leaked it on premium local radio.
What fans are exhausted over is it's like, look, there continues to be this reporting. There keep being these stories. And I saw a lot of fans that were angry today, and they said, if this is true. So people kind of already did have a little bit of skepticism with that too. But then I saw, if this is true, this goes against his brand, and he's not who we thought he was. I mean, people had some think pieces, right? Some Twitter think pieces. If this is true. And, I said before, it feels a little bit more real this year. It feels like it's accelerated. And like you just said, Trey, he did kind of open that door at the end of in that press conference. I really wish he wouldn't have, but he did open that door in that press conference before the season. But again, you're so right. Like some of this stuff at Windhorst just didn't add up. Shams puts that story out there too. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out in the next few days. But it may be a situation where Giannis has to get out and strongly refute and say, there's no way in hell I'm not going to finish the season as a Buck. I don't know, but I think it's ridiculous to even have to do that. But again, these stories just keep popping up, and I'm less and less convinced they're coming completely out of nowhere. They're coming from somewhere. There's something somewhere that somebody is hearing or talking to or speaking with to keep generating these stories.
I do want to note Miles Turner on Instagram he posted "Drown the Noise. It's always about we" over a post of the Bucks 113-109 win over the Detroit Pistons. So he's saying to down the noise, and again he's saying that they're together. And then in a weird way, does this bring everybody together? Does this rally the troops together? Again, you can't just do it one night. You got to go back out and do it. You got Philly in a couple nights. I think, again, that's a winnable game. It's going to be tough to beat Detroit 2 times and, back-to-back and sort of 2 times in over the next 3 games or whatever. But you have we talked about, that's why we talked about 16-3. It's a very winnable portion of the schedule coming up for the Bucks, even without Giannis. If they can right the ship, turn this thing around, again, who knows what Giannis starts to think after that.
Yeah, you start to feel like you control your own destiny a little bit as a group, especially without him. And so I think they're in a good position after getting tonight's win just to be able to build on something. hopefully it's a couple of games, win a couple of games, get back to 500, and see where we go from there. But no, I could feel both sides of this. Like, I could see why some people would say, yeah, I think Bucks fans are turning on Giannis, and I could see why those fans would say, yeah, look at this. We just been dealing with BS in the media this whole time, and he hasn't really done his best to publicly refute it. But at the same time, like, nothing has happened. So at the end of the day, you're also thinking of it in a certain angle of like, well, does he really have to come out and say that he doesn't want to be traded when he's not getting traded so far? So yeah, I could see both sides of it. I really don't have an angle. I can't really say that either side is wrong.
I think NYC, Randy, is definitely appreciate all your support, Cream City crossover. And I think you bring up a great point. I think when you notice the four of us I can speak for, I can't speak for everybody on Twitter, but even when we talked about the negative, it was always an if. And that if we could talk in capitals, that if would be in caps, right? For me, because I'm the only cheesehead on the show, this gives me Brett Favre vibes, right? Every year, it was, oh, I'm going to go, oh, I'm going to retire, oh, I'm going to do this, oh, I'm going to do that. Like, I hear you, Trey. He said it 6 or 7 months ago. I think the thing is, these national guys are pushing it. They're pushing it. Shut it all the way down. I just want him to do the same thing that I would do. Gosh darn it, I'm a Buck, period. I love it here. That's it. And I know he said it a million times, and that's what he did. But, man, this guy, he's amazing. Like, and it's not just on the floor, though. I mean, I think a lot of people forget all the stuff. You remember it? All of y'all remember it. He was in Pick and Save, free autographs, had to be there for 2 hours, and he's staying there for 10 hours to sign autographs. This guy, he is Milwaukee, and I think that's why it hurts so much, because we all feel like we have a vested part of it. But NYC Randy, again, it's a big if, and let's just hope this if never comes to fruition. Remember, this is my last point on it. There was a lot of Kobe rumors too. And there's a lot of Kobe to the Bulls, Kobe here, Kobe that. Kobe, he may have used that to kind of push a narrative, but he never frayed from the Lakers. And Giannis is a Kobe guy. So let's just hope and pray that that's what it is, man. That's what I hope.
And to your point, and Kobe, I believe, didn't
they
Kobe?
They had a trade on the table for Kobe.
I believe Kobe actually did demand a trade. I think I believe he requested a trade at one point in time, and the Lakers didn't do it. Now, again, it's a much more player-friendly era today than it was back when Kobe was requesting trades. But you know, I'm with you. NYC Randy, another super chat. Appreciate it. I know. Yeah, he did. Hey, NYC guys in the champagne room, fellas. Man comes back from injury early time and time again, shows his loyalty to the Bucks year after year, after every rumor, every year. He said he wants to be a Buck for life while I listen to Shams. Again, I think you're right, but I agree with JT too, where you're saying, yeah, I never believe these reporters make stuff up out of thin air. You're getting it from somewhere. And again, appreciate you guys if you're in here listening to us talk about Giannis. If you appreciate this win tonight over Detroit Pistons, hit that like button since you're in here. But yeah, he's not making it up out of nowhere. The question is, who is his source and how close is his source to Giannis? If he has people in the Knicks or the league or if it's something like that, then it's less reputable. But if it's somebody within the Bucks organization, then it's more reputable. What I can say is it's not a Chris Haynes, Damian Lillard situation where he's got his mouthpiece to his ear to the. That's not how it's happening. Whatever you got, go ahead, Justin.
I got the source. It's Bobby Portis. Let's bring Bobby for it too.
Well, you know, the thing is, so what we will say too is agents, they do plant stories in the media too, right? There's a lot of nonsense that does go on in the media.
But agents work for the player, and I was
gonna say. Like you like as an agent, when you're acting on you're a fiduciary for somebody else, right? You have to get signed. You can't just start. You can't go rogue. I mean, I guess you could. You'd probably be subject to discipline. But again, most agents aren't going to make a move without the consent of their client, and that's, I mean, again, unfortunately, guys, I get where you're coming from. Where you say he's already addressed it. Well, there's another one that he's going to have to address. He's going to have to put this thing out. He's going to have to extinguish this, because I do think that at some point this does become a distraction for that locker room. This becomes a major issue. If story comes out, then next week it's another story, and it's another story, and then there's rumors here. Like, I just think it becomes
but that's like, I don't, and again, I'm not saying that it won't become a distraction. I'm not saying that the rumor mill, all that, but the way we know about Giannis is not about to pull an AD where you wearing shirts to the games and I'm gonna sit out for this. Yeah, again, I do believe, whether some people, I heard something in the chat say he's fake humble, whether you believe that, whatever, his persona is still his persona. He's not about to go in there and cause no problems and be standoffish. And we'll talk about this in a second. And pull a Chris Paul where you out here acting a fool everywhere you go, and to where they got to send your ass home. He's never gonna be that guy. He's never gonna be that guy as long as he's under contract and still with the team. He's just not gonna do it. And that's why, again, I think there's more credit to it potentially off season versus mid season. Again, let me ask this. I know we're approaching midnight on the East Coast. I do want to ask you guys, like, so give me your finally, because we got, we have, obviously we have time to talk about this over the next weeks and games. Give me your assessment. Is Giannis here after right now? Here's what I want to do. Percentage that you believe Giannis is here after the trade deadline. I think it's February 5th, right? What is your what percent do you believe that Giannis is still going to be a Buck? Not percentage you believe when we traded, your percentage that you think he's still going to be here. Not everybody wants
3,400%.
3,400.
I don't think he's going anywhere this year. I do think there can be some credence in that offseason, but I think that Giannis finishes out this year here. I think he sees how KPJ develops, and who knows, in the offseason, I mean, as long as we keep the Thanasis around, he may sign that contract early again, and he may come back, because according to the last time he did it, it was the Thanasis that helped push that. One thing I just want to say about Shams and about Wendy real quick, we've never, in my lifetime and in y'all lifetime, and I don't know how some of y'all are in the chat, we've never had the best player in the NBA in Milwaukee, Wisconsin before. So I think it's a different narrative. And I can only go off of word of mouth because I wasn't here, but a lot of that stuff with Kareem was pushed to LA due to, one, his newfound Muslim faith at the time, and two, because he was arguably the biggest player in the game and they wanted him out of Milwaukee. So I don't get.
There's the elephant in the room that you're not mentioning.
What?
The racism kind of that just didn't fly. The stuff he was going through. He talked about that he went to Milwaukee too. I think that was also a contributing factor to him eventually leaving the franchise.
All right, Malcolm Brogdon Jr.
Listen, man, I'm just saying, like, we gonna keep this thing a buck or not. Like, Kareem talked about that. The racism that he saw was cancer. Like, I mean, like,
you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, y'all know I can't tell no lies, man. I'm not here to make you feel comfortable. I gotta keep this thing a buck. But I don't think they trade him during the season. I think if you're gonna trade him, you do it the right way for the franchise, and you let everybody in the world put together the biggest and best offer they can, and you're selling his rights to the highest bidder. I cannot see some hastily put together trade getting rammed through before the February 5th deadline. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for me, because you do have the time, and you do have the time. But I do hope that he does give this team a chance. Having said that, if the win-loss column is too lopsided, I could see a scenario where you don't get rid of Giannis, but you get rid of damn near everybody else, and you bring in a whole lot of other people. You trying to turn this thing over to salvage it. I could potentially see that scenario versus seeing Giannis actually get moved before the trade deadline or during the season this year.
Yeah, to me, this is just going to be another instance where I kind of block the noise out, right? Like, you see what the guys are posting on social media after a big win. You see that this is kind of transpired for years now, and guess what? 34 still put on that Milwaukee Bucks jersey. 34 still out there running and gunning in the regular season. And so, rushing himself back from injury. So I have a hard time right now in this moment just saying, okay, this is the time that it's going to be different. This is the time that Giannis is going to actually request out. And so I'm going to go 75-25 that Giannis stays in Milwaukee this year.
You said 85%?
75.
75. We got 3,400. What'd you have, JT?
I mean, I'm good 90 to 95. He stays in
So you have 90, 95. Okay. So it sounds like everybody here is pretty confident Giannis is going to still be in Milwaukee. I'm gonna stay with you. I'm gonna go 75, 80%. I think Giannis remains in Milwaukee this year. I do think the Bucks are gonna. I think the Bucks are gonna somewhat turn this around and have this team being playing decent again. I just wonder like what you're gonna, because this team obviously still needs some. And again, Sims is not gonna play like he played tonight. But that's the type of, I think you're seeing what type of player, and this is what we talked about, the type of player you're missing, a guy that can go rebound the bat in order to turn around to convince Giannis. Again, I don't know if you have to convince Giannis. I don't know what all that means, but at least to convince him long term. Because as somebody in the chat, tell me when is Giannis eligible to sign an extension? Isn't it this offseason? I want to say his offseason eligible to sign an extension. That's gonna be interesting too, to see what happens there. I'm just saying, King. I'm just saying I don't think Giannis leaves at the deadline. I really don't. Because the only way they'll trade him is if I think you'd have to basically ask out. You just don't sign. You don't stretch and waive Damian Lillard, and then go get Miles Turner to then trade Giannis. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to do that.
We got to correct one other thing for King of Kings too, because I saw that and he said in the chat that he's not a Bucks fan, he's a Giannis fan. Get it, respect it. But the one thing about totally respect it. But the one thing about the owners pimping 3 different owners, he said, is something, and they've been pimping Giannis the whole time he's been in Milwaukee. You got to know the whole story. Those original owners are the reason why. What's your boy that played for Dayton, Chris?
Which one?
The Antetokounmpo.
Oh, Costas.
The reason why he was able to go to Whitefish Bay, Dominican, and play basketball here in the States is because of those owners. The reason why all the brothers, other than just Giannis and Thanasis, were able to come here with the father and the mother was because of those owners. So saying they pimped him, we'll call it a mutual beneficial relationship for Giannis to come over here, chase his dreams, get billions of dollars, and go back to Greece where he wants to go or live wherever he wants to live in this world. So pimping him is crazy.
I do want to point out after the game, Bobby Portis, this is from Eric Name. Bobby Portis told reporters that while he has not had a chance to talk personally to Giannis, that Giannis was the first player in the group chat after the game congratulating the team on a win. Now, again, I'm just saying that's if you are totally checked out and you quit and you don't want to do with him and you haven't commented about leave, why are you, hey, great, whatever you said, great wing, why are you in the chat after talking about how? But again, some people, if you're a cynic, you say you have to keep that person. And that's what I mean, JT, when I was talking about he'll never, because your question about distraction, he'll never be that guy in a locker room. Let's say he wanted to soft launch some type of trade. And the Bucks said, nah, we're not going to do it. He'd never cause a problem. He's not built that way to get up and make problems for people around. I don't think, his late father, his mother, I don't know. I can't say that I know him personally, obviously, but knowing what we know about him, the values instilled in him, the guy that he will never do that. He just can't. I don't think he could. I don't think he could if he tried. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't put him past nobody. I'm sorry. I don't think he would do that based on what we've seen, but people change, things change, situations change. That was, 3-4 different teams ago. I mean, here's what I'll say. I don't think he would ever publicly request a trade. I don't think he would do it messily. And I think that if he did request a trade and then was asked about it as well, I think he probably would give you have to talk to my agent about it. I just don't see him so I agree with you from that perspective. I don't think he would cause too many ripples with it. And again, I just can't see it happening during the regular season. That's my thing, is I just can't see it happening during the regular season. But I will say, we talked about earlier this year when he moved his family out the country. You go, okay, so you moved your family out, you moved your brothers in, you either going bachelor pad or you moving folks out because you don't know how long you're going to be here. I don't know. There's just so much. There's so many different things that we could all read way too much into. For example, stripping his social media the other night after that loss to the Wizards and all that. I mean, I don't know.
That was 2 weeks ago, JT.
You said what?
They said he did that 2 weeks ago.
That's another.
Oh, so that came out 2 weeks ago. Okay,
right.
so, yeah, I mean,
that's another thing though, that like people run with stuff.
Yeah,
and just because you saw it, after the game, he'd already done it. But now again, once somebody says something, and this, you know who actually started that rumor? I won't. You know.
I don't.
You know.
Hey, let me ask y'all lawyers. Can I ask y'all lawyers a quick question?
Put it in the group text.
Well, I just don't know because I don't want to, because Justin. You know how
I ain't got nothing to say about
exactly. Justin will read it on air.
You know exactly who did it. You know exactly. Yeah, Justin know who did it.
The sad Goofy.
That's why.
Well, we got beef with somebody else. I saw Trey.
There's no beef, man. We just gotta, the geeks and dorks that could never play third grade basketball got so much to say. But anyways, hey, I got a question for y'all two brothers that are lawyers though. So, for Mariah moving to Greece, right, with the kids, is there some validity that she has to go over there a certain amount of time to establish some level of citizenship, so that when Giannis is truthfully done in the NBA in 5 to 6 years, that has to be established pre all of this, or is that?
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't get into. That's outside of my
law, sir.
Purview.
I just know some things about these here borders in the United States, particularly the states of Wisconsin and Illinois. That's where I'm licensed. That's all I can comment on. I don't know. Maybe great Trey Crosby, who's a bit more well-traveled than I can. Know more about that, but
yeah, no, I don't have it. And also, let me just read. I'm gonna read another quote here coming in from. So there was a team meeting. Today's Wednesday, right? There's a team meeting today. This is from Bobby Portis. He said, just over the season, we're about a quarter in the season. Just wanted to get a little talk in. Obviously, like I said, there are way more lows than highs over the last couple of weeks. Knowing that tonight was a huge game, wanted to come out here, have everybody on the same page. A lot going on. So this is this morning. This sounds like this is before all the conversations that took place with Windhorse and Shams, all that. A lot of chatter, a lot of media chatter, whatever it is, trying to keep guys' minds right, keep guys together. He said, obviously, everybody wants to get paid. Everybody has different motives, whatever it is. Just making sure we're together and then understanding that we have to get a win no matter how we get it. If it's ugly, if it's good, if we're knocking down shots, whatever it is, the most important thing was to win. Just talking it out and making sure we're on the same page. So Bobby Portis is telling the media that they had a meeting this morning, and it was about a team meeting. And again, I always hate. Listen, let me tell you something. You've been on, I don't know, you guys been, Justin, you've been on teams. Chris, I'm sure everybody's been on whatever team level, whatever level of team you've been on. I'll tell you something, it ain't never a good thing to have a team meeting. I know people like to make that like it's a good, we had a team. It's never a good thing. When you have to have a team meeting and close the doors and kick the coaches out, it's never, that's true. Something has gone wrong. Something's going wrong. But Bobby, I'm just saying, I think people are getting wrong. Man, they got leaders in there. Nah, if you got to have a meeting, something's wrong.
Why Bobby on this team? You remember that from the summer when he was a free agent and Bobby was like, man, I got a call from Giannis. You know where I'm going to be. Where are you going to be? So,
yeah. Well, no, and I'm just saying, what I will say, though, is because at the end of the day, when you hear team meeting, all I care about are results. And if they went in that team meeting and said, hey, we got to win by any means necessary, and they went out and got a win, that is a good thing that's come from it. Because you can't go in a team meeting and say, we got to win by any means necessary, and then you come out and get the doors blown off you. And that's what it was looking like, but they turned around. So, again, I don't know, man. But I do feel like if Giannis is involved in that kind of stuff, then, he's part of the team. So, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I do think he will be here and people in the chat are saying who said it. Y'all funny. But people in the chat, they just saying who said it. But I think Giannis is gonna be here past the deadline. That's all I'm gonna say. And then say anything else, and then we'll get to Twitter, and then we'll get to starting to wrap us up here. But I'll give you guys a round table to go with anything else. Bucks did get a win tonight, fellas.
Oh, I got a whole lot of stuff, man. I wrote a whole lot of stuff down, man. JT be having me go read the comments, and then I'll be getting mad, and I'll be writing stuff down. Now I'll come back. Y'all ain't read these or nah?
What do you got? Yeah, read whatever you got. What you got,
man? Well, first of all,
I man got notes.
I got some notes, man. Like,
go ahead.
Some of y'all sad people really be making me mad. So there's no such thing as a haul for Giannis. Like, there's no haul for that dude. That dude is a generational player, and Junior Bridgman and Brian Winters, God bless them, but not enough. Yeah, I said all this stuff already. All right, man. Hey, we need Miles to shoot the ball, man. Just shoot the ball. I think Miles' best thing is in front of him. Huh?
He been shooting it. He's just been missing him.
Yeah, he been missing. But keep shooting though. That jump looked pretty when to leave his hand, man. Like, I be thinking it'd be going in, but
he had a couple big ones tonight. At least one big one. He was in during the comeback. He just wasn't in during the fourth.
I think Miles' best days are in front of him.
I hope so. NYC, he said the chat is stupid. He's on. I do want to read a super chat since he sent it before you leave. NYC, don't be discouraged by the chat, big dog. And he says Kobe lost the game 6 on purpose. Jordan quit to play another sport. Braun has left this team 2 times for a super team, but this chat swears Giannis quit on this team because of one game versus the Wizards. And NYC, and I'll give you some credit.
Kobe losing game 6 on purpose is crazy.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know that. I don't think that Giannis quit on the team. I think he was very frustrated because of the fouls that were not being called. I think he was pissed off, and I think he let that impact him. I don't think it had anything to do with quitting on the team. I think he played stupid for a game I think he let the officiating or the lack of calls get into his head and impact him later in the course of that basketball game. That's what I don't. Again, same thing I talked about. I just don't see Giannis. He doesn't. I don't think he's quitting on a basketball team because of. I don't. I'll never accuse Giannis of that. Just like this, this injury again. Look, I can't say that he's faking an injury. I just don't. I'm not gonna. I'm just not gonna do that to Giannis. I'm not gonna do it.
That narrative either. I don't think he's quitting or faking anything. I think. Say what?
No, I'm just looking at chat.
The one thing I want. Yeah, the one thing I don't think you can question about Giannis is his toughness. You can't do that, right? Like it's there. Yes, has he missed time in the postseason because of injuries? Yes, but there's no question that Giannis is very tough. I just don't think he's got that in him to fake an injury or quit on his team. I will say though, man, Giannis gets beat up. When you watch these games, Giannis gets beat up a lot. And I'm anybody who watches it, as much as we watch the game, how many times a night are you going, how is that not a fact? I mean, what, at least once a quarter with Giannis? Like, Giannis is getting hit. And what we talked about this before in football, this is comparable to the Cam Newton treatment, where Cam Newton get hit and it should be roughing the passer, but when Cam was getting, but they just didn't call that. They didn't call a lot. They weren't going to call targeting when somebody hit Cam. They just weren't going to do that. And I think Giannis is the same way. That's exhausting. That's physically exhausting. A bad night, I see that. It was a night where the body language, you just could not hide it. But I don't think Giannis is quit on his team, nor do I think he's faking an injury.
I just think, man. hey, Trey, my bad. I cut you. Chris, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, like, look, quitting on the team, definitely not. I do think that there is some frustration just also the way that this whole season has played out, right? Like, I mean, you pretty much wasted a really brilliant game from KPJ with that frustration. But I get it. Like, I understand why the frustration is showing, and we haven't always known Giannis to be the highest IQ of players, so that can also get confused with quitting on the team. I don't think he's actually mailing it in.
I just feel like Giannis is entitled to bad games, just like everybody else on this roster. He had a bad game against Washington after we kind of flushed the toilet with it the other day. Just move on for it. I just want to shout out Trey, though. Like, man, I've been looking at that hat on Liz for a long time, man. I think I just bought the joint while we talking, man. That might be the coldest Bucks hat ever, but carry on.
Hey, nah, man, I was looking at it too. The wife doesn't like it, but I was like, it's fire. She's like, what is that on the side? Why do they have another? I'm like, bro, it's just fire. I don't
Big
like
deer
it.
energy.
Where you get exactly? I'm like, it's just like, I like if it just had the one on the top. I'm like, bro, on the side is fire. Anyway,
one positive note for NYC Randy, man. Like, hey, man, listen. Hey, you stand 10 toes down. Trey, what you got? You got like half a pinky off the ground now. I'm still staying with your 13-3, 16-3, whatever it is. And I told you and Chris the other night, I know JT was listening. They owed us one. This is the one they owed us. They got it it's still in the forefront of us.
Everything still is right in front of you. I will say that. And again, the Bucks, maybe Giannis being out these 3 weeks, they're gonna have an opportunity to show him, hey, when you come back, we got something for you. So let's see if they can pick this up and start playing well. We got Yeneves Cookies 4646 says he's Greek, and I'm telling you that Mariah doesn't need any time to establish citizenship. Should we get it right away because Giannis is Greek and also famous? So he's saying the government is that corrupt government over there in Greece? You can just buy your way in. I don't know what you're saying. Maybe that's what he's saying.
Here you can buy a visa for $5 million.
Well, you can.
Buy a visa for $5 million. Hey, you put the price on that.
Yeah, so they went from chasing him down the streets to letting his family in for the free ski because he told him. And again, hell, they should. Let me not go about how.
Make sure you subscribe. Get homie to subscribe before you say it.
Well, yeah, go and subscribe. Yeah, I'm just saying, damn, I'm sure he gonna hate that. I said, it's damn. His ass always playing that damn Greek tournament, and the least they can do is give his wife and family citizenship since they ain't paying $50 million for him to play every damn year. He find a way to play in that shit all the time. Jeez, that man stay in the damn Greece tournament. And that man loves that damn Greece tournament.
Are you saying you're offended that he is not available for his employer and he chooses to play for his country in the off season every year, despite the fact that he's not finished the regular season for his injury? Yeah.
But then he's saying no corruption, just the law. But I don't know. You said I don't know. Maybe I'm losing it because he says no corruption, just the law. But then you say it doesn't need time because they'll get it straighter because Giannis is Greek and also famous. So, okay, maybe the law is for famous. I don't know. But, again, I will say I don't know nothing about the Greek law, how that works. So you got more intelligence on that. You can speak on it than I can. Let's go to Twitter. And start to wrap this thing here. Good night, man. Good night for the Bucks. We talk a lot. Good night. Let's
be happy.
Let's see what they're saying. Jay Field in Texas says KPJ and Ron are lockdown, lights out guards, high-level point guards, irreplaceable in the NBA. And this team will now go how KPJ goes, Giannis or no Giannis. At AZip70 says, what a massive, gritty win. I love our dynamic backcourt of Porter Jr. and Rollins so much. The unsung hero tonight was Jericho Sims. He definitely deserves more minutes moving forward. He had more rebounds in 30 minutes than Trina Turner's had in the past 2 games. At Wisconsin HFC says, the Jericho Sims game. Pride kicked in. Finally, they can play hard every night if they want to. Not sure why Doc went with Bobby down the stretch over Turner. Gamble he got away with. Whole Giannis situation got even more bizarre. Something is off. Then another one at True Bucks Fan 78 says Shams right now because the Bucks found a way to get a win tonight. It's just a gif of saying next time. At Suck345 says whoever says Giannis is faking his injury is terribly wrong. Y'all don't know what these pro athletes put their body through every night. I know these guys make millions, but have some class and understanding of a situation like this. At BSD Gazelle said, great dub. That was Bobby's best game. My only complaint is Miles Turner. Dude is complete ass. At the Wisconsin kid, let's see what he has to say. Good win, but reality is the season's over. If Giannis is going to be out a month, hopefully we get the BYU kid in the draft. Who I'm kidding? Horses drafting nobody from the G League. At Notorious Notions of Nick says, most fun game of the year. Not going to lie, the energy shifted when Giannis went out. Can't overstate that enough. Kind of shades the end of Rodgers Packers era, but we will celebrate a total team win against the number 1 seed tonight. Couple more. Drew Behringer says KPJ's new face of the franchise. At Ballast Stan says Sims is the effing man. At Trina at Twin for Life 09 says super proud of his team. Their will to fight and stick with it was everything. Sims was impressive. And last one, let's do Trade A608. He says, I can't wait for the media to turn a 180 on this Bucks team tomorrow. Does this Bucks team have enough to compete in the East? Now, I don't think they're going to make that turn just yet. Take a couple more games before they do that. But yeah, anything from Twitter stands out before we go to game balls?
Hey, man, that's probably the most positive we're going to get from my homie, the Wisconsin kid, man. I just want to say that to the Greek brother, we always accepting sponsorships, even flights over to Greece to watch Giannis play in that joint. If you want to have the Cream City crossover live in Greece, I think the 4 of us will definitely fly over there. Just make sure you show us around well, my brother.
You talking about like Athens or Santorini? Like
wherever he wants to send us, I'm going.
Hey,
I go to the projects in Greece.
I don't know about it. Nah, I'm good. I don't know about Athens, but Santorini, hey, we can talk. You can fly us out there. Hey, we cooking.
Dustin Wagner talking about if we can land Morant for 2031 first, Rollins and Kuzma, I think you have to consider. Come on, man. I don't need John Morant.
Absolutely.
I saw some other people on Twitter saying they would trade KPJ. Man, the haters, it's just so insane. The kind of stuff people don't like. Well, you can sell high on KPJ. Like to me, and I get KPJ is gonna again. I'm trading Trina Turner before I trade KPJ. I'm giving KPJ a contract
in the NBA. KPJ.
Yeah, well, I think what they're saying, he's on a 1 year, so he's gonna be able to opt out. And so what they're saying is, well, somebody's gonna pay him a bag, and are the Bucks gonna be willing to do that? So should you trade him early so that you can get something for him? But man, I'm giving KPJ a little bag. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give him a little bag. And again, if I'm getting rid of somebody, I'm making up that room. I'm making up that space with trying to get Kuz out of here, getting Bobby, getting Turner. I'm doing something. I need KPJ on this roster moving forward. I know that much.
And it's unlikely that you get a replacement. That's the other thing. So it's unlikely you find a replacement that can do what he does. Like it's just not. So yeah, I agree. He can't leave the building.
Yeah,
no, like 100%. Chris said, extend him right now. You can, so do it. Throw the bag at him now. Don't even let free agency even get a close to this brother. He's a great basketball player, man.
Dustin Wagner says, not saying I disagree with you, but Giannis has respect for Morant, and you keep saying you want Giannis to say, then you have to go get him another name. Just how it is. Again, that says the other night. Respectfully, Giannis don't need to. Respectfully, Giannis doesn't. He don't need to make any more personnel decisions.
Right.
I'm over any personnel decisions.
I think we're good. I think we're good. We'll take your input when it comes to first round picks, though, because we need all the help we can
get. Game balls. Where you going? Game balls. Like I said, I already gave mine to. I go first. And Doc Rivers and Jericho Sims are gonna share the game ball. Doc Rivers, aka it's not Blake's fault. It's not Blake's fault. AKA, I don't know what grade barber you got, because that hair, I don't know how you got a hairline with no hair, but hey, he finds a way to do it. AKA the doctor. And then my guy Jericho Sims, AKA handsome. Somebody in the chat said it earlier. They said he was handsome, so that's why I get Jericho. I got nothing else. Hey, that's what they said. That's what they said. Go ahead. I ain't got nothing else. That's all I have for Jericho. I had nothing.
I really want to go Jericho too, but I feel like he kind of got it out the way. Or the handsome stuff too. You got everybody paused. I'm gonna go. I feel like this is the first time I can legit give it to the homie. So I'm gonna go Bobby Buckets. I felt like it might have been a little scuffle that went on. He stood up to the biggest douchebag in the NBA, Isaiah Stewart. They showed clips on it during the break in the Bucks game of him throwing Giannis every which way possible. Pause. And Bob got in his face, and the crowd went Bobby. But then on top of that, he wouldn't put the ball in the bucket. He had great passes after that. He rebounded the ball. He moved his feet on defense. So I feel like this is the first legitimate time I can give it to him. So I'm gonna give it to AKA Big Bob on that ass. AKA Stewart, you gonna punch who? AKA, did you see who he punched? AKA, I think that brother just retired today. AKA, get your bitch ass whooped.
Hey, did y'all see that Stewart just signed up? Did y'all see Stewart? No one, he said he's gonna kill him, and then he said he's gonna kill Bobby, and then he was telling me he wanted to meet him after the game. So that was interesting, but okay, good deal.
He seems like the angriest man in the I don't know.
Black
Always wants to be at.
Black Air Force energy.
Black Air Force energy facts.
You say what?
Chris said Black Air Force energy. Absolutely.
He do. Right. Straight up right. Do-rag with the fitted on or the fitted with the do-rag on underneath the type energy. But
one of them ones hop off the team bus 7:30 in the morning, hot Cheetos. That's it.
Yes.
Hot Cheetos.
Yes, sir. Right.
Hot Cheetos for breakfast, nails for lunch. Yeah, I'll go ahead and give my game ball to KPJ. I think it's well deserved after putting up two tremendous performances back-to-back games. So, yeah, I mean, look, this is a guy who I think you have to pull out all the stops to bring back. And you really wonder about the loyalty stuff with, we kind of rebuilt his career after going to Greece and then not really finding it in LA, and then pulling off a fleece of a trade, which still blows my mind to this day that you got KPJ for Marjon Beauchamp. But so reviving his career, you've got to think that carries some weight. It seems like if you guys watch his post-game presser, it seems like he's been able to enjoy his time in Milwaukee, even though he hasn't come out and said it. It seems like he's feeling that that enjoyment of being on a team that is renowned for winning normally. And so I think that may carry some weight, and that may entice him to bring him back. And his role, is he going to be on another good team that buries him at the end of the bench again? Well, he has it all made here. So hopefully KPJ comes back after his option, if he opts out, when he opts out. So game ball KPJ, a.k.a. shout out Dustin. I get a steal with one shoe, a.k.a.
Nice.
big-time 4-point play to get us back in the game, a.k.a. call me Sakuda, not Scoop. There you go. Even though I hate that. What is that? Sakuda.
Is that some anime stuff?
Probably.
Is that some? Yeah, he different. Okay. Yeah, I heard about the Sakuda. Yeah, is that Japanese?
Probably. Yeah.
Sound about right. You know what? Let me not say that. I gotta do better. What am I saying? I thought no, seriously, sounded about man. Anyway, I'm gonna go with my man Derry Bird tonight. I'm going with AJ Green. Thought he played well. He gets my game ball tonight. Let's go AJ Green, aka while my teammates were out there shaking ass shaking like a cocktail, I was shaking defenders, aka I'm not going to, AKA I rock with y'all, but I'm not getting my haircut with y'all. AKA somebody got to be able to talk to the cops. AKA I'm one of the best 3-point shooters in the history of the Bucks, and I'm going to keep building from there.
And Derrick Bird 100% needs to be in a 3-point competition. No doubt about it. He's got to be in a 3-point comp this year. Got to put him in there. All right, good deals with the game balls, AKAs. Let's do a very quick look around the NBA tonight. 113-109 Bucks win 10-13. How about the Trailblazers beating the Cavaliers? They get a dub. They are 9-13, 122-110 over the Cavs. Nuggets beat the Pacers. The Pacers people in the chat looking like some bums. They 4-18, man. Win some games before you talk to us. How about that? I don't want to hear nothing else from a Joker. 24, 13, and 8. How about Jamal Murray? 52 tonight from Jamal Murray. He had a hell of a game. Spurs beat the Magic. Luke Cornett had a game-winning block into that one. The Clippers, a lot of talk about the Clippers. They beat the Hawks 115-92. Knicks beat the Hornets tonight 119-104. Nets beat the Bulls. Rockets 121-95 over the Kings. But the Mavericks 118-108. They get a dub over the Miami Heat. Good basketball team. So again, a lot of good stuff tonight in the association. I was looking to see if another Diamond at 33 tonight. Look at some top performers. But good stuff. The Bucks win 113-109. Only other thing I wanted to get at tonight, real quick, was just this Chris Paul situation out in LA, where Chris Paul, again, is he 40 or 41? How old is Chris Paul?
40.
Too goddamn old to be acting like that is what he is.
And well, let me say this: so it's crazy because a lot of people took the other side on that. A lot of people, social media, said the Clippers, you can't treat a franchise legend that way. Again, if you didn't know, they sent him home overnight. Crazy is he didn't even get a meeting because I guess the Clippers plane got delayed or something. So they were supposed to talk. They were supposed to talk. I guess Lawrence Frank and him were supposed to have a conversation. They didn't have a conversation at all. He just was sent home overnight. But again, the reports were he wasn't talking. Ty Lue hadn't talked to him in weeks. And the fact that it sounds like Chris Paul was holding people accountable in there. And again, like I said, if you look at social media, a lot of people took the Clippers side, took Chris Paul's side on this about being a franchise legend, about being one of the greats. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer. And it sounds like this is how his career is going to end. I don't believe anybody's going to pick him up. I don't know where he fits anywhere in the NBA. And yeah, it seems like that's going to be it for him. I'm taking the other side. Sounds like JT, you are too. That yeah, Chris Paul has had. Here's the issue with Chris Paul. He's had issues everywhere he goes. He's a nuisance. A hell of a competitor. He is one hell of a competitor from the tray. But here's the issue: when you're a great player, people can put up with more. Yep. When you're not a great player and you're cooked and you're now old and washed, people don't put up with as much. And so when you're the last man on the bench and you don't play, you don't get to be the contrarian in the locker room. They don't need you to hold them accountable. The Clippers know they suck. They don't need Chris Paul to be running around telling everybody y'all trash. We know that. Can you help us? No. So if you can't, again, it's the equivalent. Somebody was saying, of like if Giannis is potentially having issues with the roster and all this kind of stuff with the Bucks. Okay, Bucks not winning. Cool. I can deal with that because Giannis is the greatest player in the world, or top 3, top 2, wherever you want to put him. You know what I'm not going to deal with if they had anything to say? Mark Sears. Mark Sears better shut his ass up and go to the herd, go to practice, drink water, get on the bench, and clap. Clap. That's all you gotta do is clap and make sure water is filled and towels are dry. Because I'm not gonna listen. Right. Somebody come to the bench, you sit on the floor. That's what you are doing. Pete Nance, same with you. They won't need to hear you tell us what the problems of the team are. You just worry about when you get called, whatever you do. So that's where Chris Paul's at this point in his career, and nobody wants to hear it anymore. So that's why his ass got sent home. And the only other lesson I say in this is leave the game before it leaves you,
man.
Because if you don't, again, man, that's just it's life, man. It's life.
Spiral.
And I think Chris Paul's gonna do great in whether he goes media or coaching route. I think he's gonna be great at it. And I think one of the reasons is because he is that. He's gonna tell you how he feels. He's not gonna hold back punches. I think he's gonna be one of those guys in the media that will talk that talk if that's the route he chooses to go. But it just don't work on the end of a bench. Leave the game. Make sure left a couple years ago when you were semi on top, still playing well or whatever. Now you're 40, you go out. You thought you was about to get a farewell tour? What Draymond say to Paul? They don't love you like that. They don't love you like that. A farewell tour.
Chris Paul, you know what amazes me is that he's been in the league 20 years, I think, and he ain't learned how to read the damn room. Don't nobody. I agree with you, Trey. How did he not know that the threshold for BS is going to be low with you? You can't be out there telling her, and you out there getting cooked. You out there looking, not doing anything, talking about y'all need to be working. That's exhausting. And like you said, Trey, they stink. And here's the real issue: they're less than 30 games in. Do you think anybody else wants to put up with 52 more games or however 60 more games, whatever number it is? Like, you want to put up with this for till April? Absolutely not. And this is a guy who couldn't check himself, couldn't shut his damn mouth. Like, you know, one of the things that amazes me about guys like Chris Paul is that talk about leadership. Okay, that may have worked, but let's be honest. The Chris Paul leadership style, whatever was the last time I worked? Like 2018, 2019. He's been cooked for a little while now. I mean, I don't know. I agree. I think that's the right move. I think his act wore thin. Plus, there were reports he was criticizing the front office. He was criticizing everybody. It's just like, man, like at some point, it wasn't worth it. They had to cut their losses. I don't have a problem with this. I wish Chris wouldn't have played this year, period. But, you know, denial.
Yeah, it's about that time, Unc. Yeah, I just feel like
Been about that time, about a good 3-4 years now.
Yeah, it definitely has.
Like,
Yeah, I just, this was supposed to be his storybook ending, right? Going to the team that made him who he is, and you somehow managed to mess that up, even as a guy who's not playing. So it's a whole thing with Chris Paul. But that's the thing, like, he did let the game pass him because I wasn't thinking to tune in and watch Chris Paul on the Clippers. I wasn't thinking to tune in to see what he was doing or look, because I knew how it was gonna go. You knew this was retire in the place that loved you and made you, and you couldn't even do that.
Yeah, I'm probably about to date myself in this, but Chris Paul, Winston-Salem State alum, CIAA brother.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, so probably my most hated player in NBA history because of the dirty antics. I'll still never forget the push in Giannis. I think after that second year where the Suns didn't amount to anything after, Bucks and 6, he probably should have let it go then. However, here's where I'm about to date myself. I thought Chris Paul thought of himself a lot like, I don't know if y'all remember this guy, Mike Dunleavy.
Yeah.
Not the one that went to Duke, the daddy.
Oh, not Junior.
No, not Junior.
Oh, yeah, he just dated.
So when I was a young boy, about 6, 7 years old, Mike Dunleavy.
He coached the Bucks, though.
He coached the Bucks, but this was when he was assistant coach. He would start the first half out as an assistant coach in the suit, and by the end of the game, he'd be back in his uniform. He'd be hooping. And I thought that's what a lot was Chris was trying to do. He's trying to do that Mike Dunleavy thing where I'm going to coach you guys, and I'm not really going to contribute. But I felt like the message fell on deaf ears. And here's why it fell on deaf ears, in my opinion, because you're not being the vet like what DeAndre Jordan is doing down there in New Orleans for a bunch of young boys that don't know how to win, don't know how to play. You got a bunch of vets out there. I think their average age has to be 30 plus with Zubac, Brook, Harden, Kawhi. Those guys are all 35 plus. They know how to play the game now. And some of those guys, their bodies can't do what it used to do. So, hey, man, Chris, you are a much better president of the NBA Association than what CJ McCollum was, though. I give you that. Probably the best president we've had ever, maybe. But, hey, man, I think there is one team that will bring him. I think the Lakers will bring him in there. Homeboys with LeBron. I feel like he could go on there and he can kind of sit on the end of the bench. And, but I want him as far away from Milwaukee as possible. I don't even want him in Oshkosh. Just keep him away.
Yeah, but like the thing is, the Lakers can't bring him in there if he's gonna get in there and show his ass. They kind of got a good thing going. Come on, man. Don't come in here with the nonsense. Everybody can't play that Udonis Haslem role. Well, remember Udonis? Didn't he play like 20 games in a 2-year span? His last
right? Yeah, UD was out there chilling.
He was on the bench. He was checking folks. He was kind of like talking to people. It was cool. Like it worked out. They respected him. It was all right. Like everybody, you got to earn that. That's just not given. And you definitely not going to be able to roam. And Udonis Haslem could do that because he was there like 15 years.
Facts.
Everybody's not going to get that. Everybody's not going to get that position in camp. And I think Chris Paul, to just take this from place to place is, oh my gosh, I just can't imagine anybody wanting to deal with it.
Global is actually saying, what is GA? And, I don't know what you're talking about. Rick Hamilton says, do you really think Doc Rivers learned anything today? Will he adjust his lineup and rotations? I honestly, I think so. Honestly, I think so. I think today was eye-opening for Doc Rivers. And again, he basically played 8 guys a night. So I think the difference was, when we talk about rotations, is he made a decision that he wanted the coach to win a basketball game. And again, it's very easy. If you're playing guys 30 and 31 minutes, you got to find minutes for other players. But if you want to win those games, 36, 37, 38, that's where you go. Only last thing I get at is that everything, all the noise around Giannis, everything today, it just goes to show you the NFL just posted on Thanksgiving 53 million people watch Chiefs, Cowboys, whatever that was, right? And it's most watched game ever. This is the NBA's problem. That their product on this kind of stuff, Giannis trades, and where is he going to go? This is what dominates headlines versus their product on the court. And the NFL, people are actually watching the games. And until you get that revert, like somebody said to me when I made this point on Twitter, somebody said, the idea of the NBA is better than the actual NBA. And that, like, when people are drawn towards who's going where and moves and trend, that's what your media is pushing, is all they care about. Like, I mean, this has been the biggest story of NBA, the biggest story tomorrow. Not any of the games. Jamal Murray put up 52 points. That will not be the biggest story tomorrow when they talk on ESPN. That is a problem for the NBA. But anyway, that's all. That's all I got. Anybody else got anything? And then we'll get out of here and wrap this thing for real.
I got 2 real quick things. So first of all, I think we'd be remiss to not mention the passing of Eldon Campbell.
Big one. Play with the Hornets.
Played for the Hornets. Played for the Lakers. As you younger brothers matriculate through this life, it's just crazy when you're growing up and you see these guys and they're superheroes to you, and then they're gone. 57 years old. I don't feel like that's owed to me yet. I feel like he had a lot more life to live. So prayers out to his family. And then I guess my last thing is to the homie that was like, oh, well, he had the Kuzma jersey. He had the Miles Turner jersey. Dog, it's about who's a buck. Miles Turner was the biggest free agent signing for us last year, and that's why it's up here. If I can find a Cole Anthony, we might put that joint up there too, bro.
Yeah, I'd just say I don't want any of this to overshadow what was a good night from the Bucks. Any of this, Giannis trade talk and requesting out, all that dumb stuff that everybody is going to inevitably get to him for a little bit. Like, this was a good, encouraging win. Guys stepped up, and the effort level was night and day from what we've seen maybe all year.
That's a good point. Good point. All right. That's it then. All right, good stuff, fellas. Bucks do get the win, 113-109. As Chris said, it was an encouraging win. Again, if you joined us tonight, hit us with a super chat. We appreciate it. Listen, if you didn't hit that like button on the way in, if you enjoyed the fact the Milwaukee Bucks got a dub tonight, if you enjoyed the fact the young Bucks came through, Scoot, Sakuda, whatever you want to call him, Jericho Sims, as well as Ryan Rollins were responsible for a big win. If you enjoy Bobby Portis getting into Isaiah Stewart's face, hit that like button on the way out. We greatly appreciate it. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us tonight, and you're still here with us. It was a late night here. We're approaching 1 a.m. on the East Coast. And again, you're here with us, but again, it was much needed because a lot of stuff happened, a lot of intriguing things happened. And oh, by the way, the Bucks beat the best team in the Eastern Conference. But again, we appreciate you for joining us. We appreciate you for staying with us, sticking with us, making Cream City Crossover your home, because as you all know, it is the best Milwaukee Bucks postgame show in all of the land. Can't do it without you. Can't do it without these 3 fellas right here. Again, hit that like button, tell a friend to tell another friend, tell a friend about the Cream City Crossover. Appreciate you guys in the chat as always, everywhere, wherever you watch the Cream City crossover. This has been a Cream City Media Group production from the Group Trailer.
JT.
Justin.
I don't take no wooden nickels. And when I say I don't take no wooden nickels, I'm talking. It's prevalent tonight because we're talking about when you're listening to these reporters, when you listen to Shams, when you listen to Winner, don't take no wooden nickels.